Good morning, Vietnam. Little Jonathan Fibonacci here. I got something I want to talk to you guys about. It's a question: is what is a Skype dad? What is a Skype dad? This is why I'm talking about some hashtag MRA stuff. Now I'm gonna put this on YouTube, obviously, and I'm gonna title it the best I guess fathers advocacy in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and I can help anybody anywhere in Texas. Basically, what I'm doing in a nutshell is I'm offering I guess a men's rights divorce kit for $2,800. And my story in a nutshell, and you can go back to other videos and you can see it, where really what happened is I went through a civil trial in Texas and I learned so much. And it was, in fact, it's still going on. I haven't seen my kids going on, 3 years now. And I saw this and what is a Skype dad? This is now a thing. It's fathers who only see their kids on a computer screen. It's a heartbreaking sign of our times that divorced dads relying on video calls to keep contact with their wife. How is that possible? Well, it's possible because we live in a very feminazi, female-based legal system. And, again, I can help anybody in Texas. And one reason why I'm going to put kind of a father's rights kit, it's kind of everything that I wish I would have known, or I wish my attorney would have advocated for me in my own civil trial so that that wouldn't have happened to me. Now, this is really weird that we live in a world that we now have a thing called a Skype dad. Google it. It's his father's, and it's a heartbreaking sign of divorce times that divorced dads are relying on video calls to keep contact with their children. So here's how it works. See, in today's civil system, and you already know this, if you're even watching this video, chances are you've already had one lawyer, maybe had two lawyers. I talked to this one guy, and he had spent $75,000. He finally contacted me. He's like, hey Jonathan, can you help me? I said, yeah, you could buy my divorce kit. And he didn't really want to. I don't know why he didn't want to do that. I'm like, dude, there's no human being on earth that can advocate and help you navigate today's current civil system. And again, my experience was in Texas. But I can help anywhere anywhere in the United States. I'm charging people in Texas $2,800 because all my experiences there. I already know all the codes. I already know all the legal stuff, and it's basically kind of a kit, a boot camp thing, really, where I'm just going to mail you something or FedEx you something, where I'm like, these are the most salient, important things to discuss. And even if you're maybe uncomfortable using or defending yourself in your own civil case, you need to use my divorce kit to vet your lawyer. And the reason why you need to vet your lawyer is because, for example, if you walk into a lawyer's office somewhere in Austin or Houston, in San Antonio, Dallas, it doesn't matter, then the first question I would ask that person is, number one, is how many times have you defended Texas Criminal Code 2503? By the way, that's me hiking out here in Colorado. That's me. By the way, you can follow me at Fibonacci. You can email me americana417@gmail.com. Let's go back to Texas 2503. Texas 2503 is the epicenter of where Texas civil trials go bad. And the fact is it's never enforced. So it's really it's a criminal code that applies equally to men and women, but guess what? It's never enforced. And so therefore women never really have to honor a man or your custody. And so think about that. What if we had a legal system where a woman could, let's just use the car example, that a woman could steal your car, and that if you walked into the police officers or the police station, you talked to the big belly police chief, what if they said, well, sorry, around here we don't get involved in civil matters? Well, you're like, this is not a civil matter. She stole my car. Well, we don't get involved. And I've walked into a couple of police officers, and I'm like, guys, you need to enforce my custody. I've even brought my decree, and of course, they don't do that. So let's look at some of the realities. This is something that's very rare. This custody battle ends with charges against a mother. Now, slowly, we are seeing this type of news where women are held accountable in civil cases. And this is one example. In fact, I saw a story in Arizona where a woman, she is facing 4 felony counts because she made up all kinds of accusations against a man that were proven false. But let me show you some of the reality, because this is something straight from, I think it's ABC News. Let me take a second here. This This is really, really sad. It's talking about a woman who accused her ex-husband of some really bad abuse. Of course, it was proven wrong. And this is what her lawyer says: people can get very aggressive in litigation. What she really means is women. Women can get very aggressive in litigation and make false claims, according to Lauren Waddell. Some people use that as a tool in litigation to gain the upper hand. Now, read that last sentence again. Some people use false allegations as a tool in litigation to gain the upper hand. Okay, so the way it stands now is Texas Criminal Code 2503 is never enforced. Women kind of have a carte blanche. They can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. And if they decide that maybe let's just say that in your case, your ex-wife is deciding that you're not giving in enough, then guess what happens? All she has to do is say that you are abusing your children and you become a Skype dad overnight. And again, I'm a living example of that. I'm going on 3 years. I was given a supervised visitation. Of course, that person, quote, I'm doing air quotes, she lost my file. And so I can go on and on and on and talk about the corruption of the Texas Criminal Code, or excuse me. I can go on and talk about the corruption of the Texas criminal system. So what do? What's the solution? Well, number one is you need to go watch a couple of documentaries. Go watch the Red Pill documentary. Go watch Divorce Corp. That's a very important documentary. Divorce Corp is probably the best one out there that speaks specifically to the realities of the things that I'm saying. In fact, you don't have to take my word for it. Just go to divorcecorp.com. It's a guy, I think he was out of San Diego. And he just said, listen, man, we're going to have to talk about some of this bullshit. And it's divorcecorp.com. And it's really just talking about the business of divorce and how women can just destroy a man and it doesn't matter. And so what's the solution? What do you do if you're in Austin or you're in Dallas and you're in Houston? Number one is you need to email me at Americana417. Americana417@gmail.com. You need to buy my divorce kit. And this is simply going to be all my experience kind of reduced down and to say, okay, these are the top points you have to make sure are covered, or make sure your lawyer covers. Now, will your lawyer like my divorce kit? No. But if your lawyer does not like my divorce kit, then you have the wrong lawyer. For example, if you ever talk to a lawyer and he or she says, well, we don't really get involved in civil matters and Texas Criminal Code 2503 is not important, you know that you are about to write a check to the wrong lawyer. So just using my divorce kit to vet your lawyer will save you thousands and thousands of dollars and possibly prevent you from becoming a Skype dad. Secondly, I'm going to talk about real estate and little small things that your lawyer's not even thinking. Like, let me give you a real life example. Like, if you have to split equity in your property, well, one of the things I'm going to put in my divorce kit is the importance of ordering an appraisal on your home before the amount of equity is determined. Because if your stupid ass lawyer says there's $50,000 equity in your home, well, then now you have to split $50,000, just to use as an example. But what if there's only $30,000 of equity in your property? Well, if your decree says 50, you have to pay on 50, not the actual. So if you go to Jonathan Fibonacci, you email me at Americana417@gmail.com. One of the things that I'm going to put in my $2,800 divorce kit is I'm going to speak to the importance of ordering an appraisal. It will cost you $500, whatever an appraiser costs. That $500 could save you $20,000, $30,000. So my divorce kit is really just me reducing all the experience down to something very manageable, very easy to read, some brief explanations, and say, okay, these are the top 10 points. These are the top 5 points that you need to make sure are covered. Texas 2503 is going to be there. I already talked about real estate. And there's going to be all kinds of things in there that you're not even realizing that are important. And that's the importance of a $2,800 divorce kit, is that if you don't address it in your trial, then you're going to pay down the road. Like, for example, I could talk about 2503 all day long, because that was the epicenter of what went wrong in my life, in that I could not get Texas 2503 enforced. And I really believed lawyers and police officers who said that 2503 is not a civil matter. Well, go read it. Google Texas Criminal Code 2503 and tell me that that's not a civil matter. So if you're about to write a retainer check to a lawyer and they take that idea that Texas 2503 is not a civil matter, then you need to walk the fuck out of that lawyer's office. So anyway, this is a great documentary. The Red Pill documentary is another great documentary. And then gotta keep in mind that while it's very rare for women to be held accountable in civil cases, because one of the things that you need to realize is that when you go into a civil case, the idea, the mentality is that she's the loving mama with these beautiful kids and you're the big bad wolf that you just need to sign checks. That's the idea. And if you don't accept that idea, that the courts are there to protect her, well, how do you protect a victim? Well, you have to have a perpetrator. Well, you will become the perpetrator whether you are or not. And in this case, this woman, she made all kinds of bad accusations against her ex-husband. She's now going to go to jail, but that's the exception. So what do? Knowledge is power. Buy my divorce kit for $2,800. If you're in any other state, it's going to be $3,800 because I have to do, like, for example, if you live in Florida, I'm going to have to find the equivalent of 2503 in Florida. I'm going to have to do some extra research in states outside of Texas, but I want to help men going through civil cases, and I want to use all my experience so that you never have to go through what I went through. And, I've said it before, this is so important. Lawyer up. What is a rebel? It's a man who simply says no. So here's a point. When you go through your civil case, you have two choices, from my view. You can either just say yes, whatever you want, dear. You want 30% of my income, 40%? Okay. You want me to be a Skype dad? Okay. You can either just say yes, 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 or you can man up, knowledge up, buy my divorce kit, learn your rights, go into your case, hire the right lawyer, and use my kit to hire the right lawyer, and then go through your case and say, no, federally protected statuses really are pertinent here. 2503 is really pertinent here. This is really pertinent here. We're going to order this appraisal to confirm this equity. Boom, 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 boom. And you might be thinking, I don't want to spend $2,800 on some YouTube guy talking about a divorce kit. But let me tell you something. This is a reality. Google, what is a Skype dad? And that's what I want to prevent. I want to keep families together. And the only way that I could do that is to use my experience. So anyway, Google it. Remember, a rebel is just a man who says no. You guys be good. Email me at americano417@gmail.com. Follow me at Fibonacci. PayPal me. Knowledge is power. Quote, 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 for real. I cannot stress how important it is for a man to walk into his own civil case informed and ready with the right lawyer. And I'm going to say it right now, 90% of lawyers out there, 90% of the lawyers out there that you're going to talk to, that you're going to find online, that are going to tell you about how wonderful they are, 90% of them have never defended 2503 on a federal level. So what does that mean? What does that mean? 90% of lawyers out there that are taking men's retainer fees are simply working for your ex-wife. Because once you write a lawyer a retainer fee, they don't give a fuck what happens to you and your family. Once a lawyer has cashed your $10,000, your $15,000, your $20,000 retainer fee, men, they don't give a fuck whether you win or lose. They've already won. What I want to do with my divorce kit is I want to make sure that you win. And the only way that you can do that is knowledge is power. You guys be good. Email me, americano417@gmail.com, $2,800 in Texas, $3,800 in other states. You guys be good.